Welcome to I Just Watched. I'm Joseph, and we're discussing Bob Marley, One Love. I was excited for this movie. I do love a good biopic, and I am a fan of Bob Marley and the Wailers. Spoiler warning, but at the same time, if you know about his life and his history, not just his music, but of his actual life with the music, then you should know most of what goes on in this movie. I do like how contained it felt, and I didn't know how involved the family were until after I watched the movie. I did some research, and the family was heavily involved, and I liked the fact that they were the ones who helped pick Kingsley to be Bob, to bring Bob to life to the best of his abilities. And these movies, for sure, even shows, but they can be extremely tricky. Yes, you want someone who looks like the person they're bringing to life, because these people, clearly, we know what they look like. We have more than enough information, not just off their look, their personality, what they brought, their aura, their energy, who they were, and how they presented themselves. So I like the fact that they were involved in choosing Kingsley, and the way they brought it together, I think, was really well done. They start you off at his pre-climax, the pre-peak of his stardom, of his greatness, so to speak, and they show you how things are evolved. They show you the threat to his life, to his family, the reason he has to leave Jamaica, and the struggle he has to find to kind of not define himself, but re-understand who he is and what he can do for the world and how he wants to push forward doing that. And I like how they just presented that, and they showed us this tight-knit few years. Although it is a tight-knit few years, I feel like I learned so much about him. There's a couple moments of flashbacks of him, yes, growing up, but it was just enough information for you to feel like you got this grand live story leading up to Exodus, dealing with the fact that he got this extremely rare form of cancer. I mean, all cancer sucks. And you see how he was able to commit and actually do certain dreams, like his tour in Africa, the peace tour in Jamaica, and how he was able to really unite people and produce that. So where this movie, it shows us moments when he is building these songs with his team, with his people, and you see them performing it, you see them creating it in the studio. It wasn't just studio session, album release, song this, performance here. It showed you pieces of his life and how he came to those points where he was building a song, how they put it together as a team, how they created the team, and how it got them to where they were, to where they've done, to the fact that, Exodus is a phenomenal album. He has great music across the board. And if you're a fan of his, a fan of the team, a fan of the Wailers and such, then yeah, I think at the very least you're going to enjoy the music you hear. Outside of that, even if you're not a huge fan of his music, of the music they created, I think you'll still enjoy this movie because of the way they decided to tell you who he was and what he wanted to do. So I really enjoyed that aspect of it. Lashana Lynch, who did a great job. I actually really enjoy seeing her in movies. I think she does a great job in the roles where she really gets to kick something off and portray something for real. And I've liked her in a lot of what I've seen. And there's a bunch of other people who they kind of surround him with, and you can just see the world that it's brought to life. And I thought it was done very well. I really enjoyed it, which thank goodness, because the few times I've been to the movies this year have not been very well. All right, this is the best movie of the year so far. And I've seen, 4 movies now? 4 movies, 5 movies, something like that. And they've all been kind of letdowns or just god awful, which is sad. It's tragic to the heart. And finally, I watched this and I was like, all right, cool. Like, I knew at the very least I was going to enjoy the ride with the music. But the movie itself could have faltered. It could have been lackluster. And I think it wasn't. It made me feel like I was really watching someone portray. It felt like I was seeing who Bob Marley was and who the Wailers were and what that meant for his family and what that meant for the world. So I really loved how they brought it together. I love the fact that Ziggy in the beginning gives us the message of how, like, this is their love story. This is their gift to their dad, but for us as well. So overall, I think it's a great movie, highly rewatchable. The only thing I gotta be honest, that sometimes that accent, not knocking it, because it's dope as fuck, got a little heavy, and your boy would have loved some subtitles, because I was sitting there like, all right, context clues. I think they said this. And then something else would happen, like, they did say that, cool. Whew. Now and again, I was like, man, some subtitles would be really nice right now, because that accent coming in hot and heavy. All right, I'm not knocking it. Like I said, if I can do it, I 100% would. I cannot do it. Los títulos, por favor. Outside of that, I really don't have a knock on it. This movie felt short, and I would have been happy with more, but I think the way they did it worked perfect. Like I said, I felt like you got to learn a lot about him and his life and the people around him, his family, his kids, and how it came to fruition. I'd love to hear your thoughts, though. Highly rewatchable for me. Definitely enjoyed it. Worth a trip to the theater, so I definitely recommend it. I'd love to chat with y'all. Let me know how you're feeling about it. And if there's a favorite moment in the film or a favorite moment in his life that you'd like to talk about, let me know, because I love learning about it. I love hearing about it. But until next time, stay safe, be well, y con mucho amor. Adios.